Southern Illinois? What all do you know about them? Even if it's not much, what do you know?
I've never told anybody this. They were both from the same town.
Okay.
They went to school together. And I've always said that I didn't know anything about my dad, but I do.
Oh, really?
I don't know a lot about him, but I know that he was black.
Okay.
And like I said, I've never told anybody that.
How does that make you feel?
Inferior.
Okay. And why do you think you feel that way? What makes you feel that way?
Well, in Southern Illinois, blacks are not thought of real high. You know? And I'm part black.
Did you ever have any bad experiences due to you being biracial?
No, because fortunately I don't look, I mean, I'm kind of dark complected, but I don't have the features or, you know, and I'm not real dark.
Right.
And everything. That's the reason I've never told anybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see.
And that's really all I know about my dad. I just know they were both young.
Do you know about how old they were when?
Well, they were in high school.
Okay. So under 18 for sure.
According to what I was told, yeah. I mean, I can remember a little, you know. But he wasn't around much.
So how old were you when you got sent to foster care?
6.
6. Okay, so you probably do have a little bit of memory about your mother, and you.
Yeah, I mean, she was very pretty, dark hair, laughed a lot. But when he was around, there was a lot of yelling and screaming.
Mhm.
I don't remember any other family, you know. Don't remember even talk about any other family.
It was just you guys until the point that your mom was unable to take care of all of you.
Yeah.
And why do you think that was? Why? What made her, unable to care for you guys? Was there any specific situation? Was she into drugs? Was she?
I don't know. I really don't, you know.
It just kind of happened all at one time, and.
Yeah, she was gone a lot during the day, you know, so I assume she was working. You know, I don't know. It just seems like we were by ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, although you didn't have many close relationships growing up, would you say at this point in your life you have many?
Well, my wife's the closest, you know, obviously. I don't have any real close, no. One of the guys at work, we kind of talk to each other a little bit, but just talk in general.
Yeah.
And there's 3 or 4 of us in class at school that sometimes after class we'll stop and have a beer together or something. Usually we're talking about school.
Right. And why is it that you don't, have many close relationships other than your wife? Is there?
Well, it seems like every time I've had somebody that I thought was a friend, excuse my language, but I've had it shoved up, you know what. Seems like everybody's always, they're just out to get me for whatever they can get me for, you know.
Can you maybe give me an example of that?
this one guy that, you know, probably as close as anybody I've had, you know, and he came to me one time and told me that he had some kids that he hadn't seen in over a year, and one of them had got hurt in a car wreck, and he needed to go. They lived out of town, and he needed to go see him, and he was trying to get enough money together, you know.
Mhm.
And I'd just gotten paid, and I gave him all I had. It wasn't enough, and I know that, but he assured me he would be able to get the rest, and that he would pay me back. And I never, in fact, he kind of turns and goes the other way when he sees me. You know.
Mhm.
And my wife and I had a big fight about me giving him that money, and it caused problems. And it seemed like things like that, it just turns out that way all the time.
Okay. Well, reverting back to a little bit about your legal history, you had said that you once were arrested for a DUI, which was actually a year ago, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and before that, you said that you were caught with cocaine and marijuana.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, got caught stealing
Right.
cash out of parked cars.
Oh.
And when they searched me, obviously they found some marijuana and some cocaine. And I did use marijuana. I couldn't afford cocaine. I don't know how I got it or why I had it even, but
Yeah.
couldn't afford marijuana either. But
And what exactly was your punishment for these behaviors?
well, I was in jail overnight for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go and see the judge and and all that. And since at my age, I was 16. The judge was lenient, I guess, and just put me on court supervision, took my license away from me. And I have to go back, every 6 months, and eventually he said if I do good, he'll give me my license back.
But you can't wait for that.
No, except I sold my car because we needed money, so it wouldn't do me any good now.
Yeah. So you said that was your punishment for your DUI. Now, what was your punishment for your, robbing people in the parking lot? Probation. Okay. So you didn't actually did you spend any time in jail at that point, or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was in for, I think, 3.5 days.
3.5 days. And who bailed you out of that?
I didn't. I stayed there until we went before the judge.
And that's what they...
Yeah.
Okay. Was anybody there for you during these times for, support? Was there anyone there for you to talk to?
No.
So you basically had to deal with some hard situations alone.
Yeah. Yeah. It happened during the summer, so fortunately I wasn't in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I never did tell anybody about it. I didn't want them out at the home to know about it because I was afraid I would lose my spot out there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything more. Is there anything more you feel like you need to talk about or tell me about?
What do you think's causing me? I mean, there's so many things, The voices are one thing, but, seemed like I just fly off the handle, and I never was that way.
Can you give me more of an example? What do you mean by
It's like
that?
I have no patience